Hello, calisthenics family. Today we will be covering elbow levers. So this first variation is the push-up lever. I haven't really seen these very much before, but they are incredibly effective. So I lean into the push-up with the hollow body position, and as I lower myself into the push-up, I squeeze my elbows into my body, and then at the bottom, I try to drive my chest up out of that hollow thoracic, and try to lengthen my body into that nice straight line. As you get into these more advanced variations, such as you'll see next, where I lift my knee up into the frog tuck position, you're going to see that as I'm going, my elbows almost go straight. That's why this is so effective for your planche lean training and your pseudo planche push-ups. So the reason also why I'm going to be using frog tucks as opposed to standard tucks on this is if you're not using parallettes such as I am here, specifically the Liebert parallettes, which I love due to the grips. They've really saved my hands in my handstand training. But if you are with hands on the floor, you're just really not going to be able to get your knees underneath your body effectively, and you're going to have to use the frog tuck position. It's also why I won't be using single leg variations in this lever progression video, just because, again, you just won't be able to get that knee underneath your body in any effective or any meaningful way if you are doing this on the floor. So again, I come down into the push-up position with a hollow body, and then I try to really drive my chest up and try to straighten out my spine and lean forward. This is going to pay dividends and really give you that very nice straight elbow lever line later on. Now, these are just standard elbow levers. This you've probably seen a million times. So I come down and I'm going to be driving my elbows into my body. I'm using the lat-shelf position where I try to shelf my lats onto my tricep muscles. But if you're struggling with this, by all means, just really pinch your elbows together more narrow and try to rest your rib cage on top of your elbows. This will make it a lot more easy and a lot simpler in the beginning. More easy. What is that? And so the reason I'm going straddle then half lay is just because on this position, most likely, especially if you're a beginner, you'll be in more of you're going to struggle to get that straight straddle line, so you'll probably be more in a straddle tuck, and it'll be a bit easier for you. Now in the full position here, as you see, I go down with a hollow thoracic, then I really try to drive that spine straight and look forward to get that beautiful stick straight elbow lever line. Now I'm using the crow stand variation. So this is a really great way to enter into your elbow levers, and it will look a lot prettier and just adds a nice aesthetic appeal. So the same progression is going to be going on throughout, so I'm just going to talk about the technique going on here. So I get up on my parallettes, and I go up on my tippy toes, and I lower my armpits to my knees. I go up to my crow stand. Now I just slide down my body, squeezing my elbows together as I go. The reason I like this is when I slide down from the crow stand into the frog stand, my legs are going to be pushing my elbows together. Once I'm down at the frog stand, my elbows are basically just locked into my body, and from that point, then I stretch my legs out into the elbow lever, and then finally I arch my spine up and try to get that straight body line. So one last time, I step up on the parallettes and I enter into crow stand. So as you see here, so I always bring my armpits to my knees to get that nice crow stand position, that nice high crow stand. Now I widen my knees, slide down into the frog stand, pressing my elbows into my body, and then I stretch my legs out straight and really drive out of the hollow thoracic so that I can get that straight line, and I look forward to create the straight visual line. It's very important that you film yourself and understand what these positions feel like when you see yourself in a straight line on camera, because at first, your mind is just not going to translate the feeling into the correct image. You'll be all over the place. Please videotape yourself. Please film yourself. It'll make your whole journey much simpler. So now this is going to be the bent arm handstand variation. This is really, really useful as you progress. A bent arm handstand, specifically a shoulder stand, because I'm going very deep on this. It's not as difficult as it looks. It's definitely something that you should be doing as a beginner. And it's just the key is just don't go too vertical or you'll flip over the top. So it was really hot out this day. I tried to do everything as a progression, but this last one I was just sweating too much. My arms kept slipping off my body as I was lowering into the full by the end of the progression. So I wimped out and I had to cut take and go over to this one. Now these are going to be how to build up the core and specifically lower back and glute strength in order to enter the elbow lever. So now I'm going to be starting off with headstand leg lifts. The reason I love headstand leg lifts for the elbow lever is because you're going to be lifting your legs up, and it's going to be more of a reverse hyperextension. Headstand leg lifts are essentially just reverse hyperextensions done on your head. So I'm going to be using the crow stand variation, and as you see here, I'm always going to have my knees on my triceps in between here. This is going to make it a lot more accessible for beginners. Now, again, I'm going into the arch here. So in standard headstand leg lifts, you'd probably keep more of a hollow throughout, but in this, I am using that arch because you're going to need that to get that straight line in the lever. Very important to note, I'm always on the top of my head and I'm never letting my neck bend in either direction. If you want a stronger neck, press your tongue into the roof of your mouth and it will definitely help just strengthen your neck. You'll feel a lot more solid in this position. If you are new to it, do it against a wall. Make sure you don't fall and hurt your neck. Now these finally are reverse hyperextensions because again, you're going to need some lower back strength to straighten out into that elbow lever line. So something to note here, this is also really just good for your lower back. I highly recommend that you all do reverse hyperextensions just in general. It's also going to be tremendous on building the glute strength required. If you want to make this more difficult and add some weight, a great suggestion to try here, which would require not even spending money on ankle weights, and you could just do this bare bones with stuff you have laying around the house. For the full reverse hyperextension, just take either a belt or a dog collar and thread it through a water bottle and then, connect it around your ankles. What you could do then is just, as you get stronger, add more and more water to the jug, and then by the end, once you have a full gallon jug hanging off that belt, you'll have either like around 8 pounds or almost 4 kilograms there, and that's more than enough strength, in my opinion, to do a full elbow lever. Love you guys. I really hope this helped.